All right. Hello and welcome back to episode 8 of Borderline FPL, the podcast that constantly crosses the line between FPL advice and Premier League banter. My name's Chris.
My name is Ben, and we have been gone for a while, just like the Premier League. We apologize for the delay in episodes, but Chris was getting married.
Indeed.
So
Hey,
if you
the
have
deed is
any
done, my
problems,
friends. The deed
take it up
is
with
done.
Chris, take it up with his wife, Brighton.
Yeah.
Go bash them on Twitter for making this episode late. That's on them.
Hey.
I'll
We're gonna get the bashing when your Wi-Fi went out yesterday, huh?
Oh, dude, how was that my fault? How is that my fault? You chose to get married. I didn't choose for Spectrum to go down.
That's kind of fair, to be honest.
Yeah, that would say I had no control over that. So we would have had this day earlier. Spectrum decided to stop working in Dallas, where I'm at, and that's why we're doing it today. Anyways, enough of our personal matters and issues. Let's get into the table.
Oh, you want to see the table?
Not really, but sure.
Yeah, we got to. It's part of the pod. We got to go through the dips and we got to go through the ups and everything. So Chelsea finally in sole possession of first place.
Yeah,
16 points.
No, they've been very impressive this year. It's still, it's anyone's race, isn't it?
Yeah, surely.
2 points separate them and 7th place.
Right.
And so it's still pretty much anyone's table, but Chelsea with the early lead, top 4 looking kind of the 4 teams everyone expected to be there. And then you go a little lower, and it's a bit of a kind of a shoot. I'm still very impressed by Brighton, the team, and your wife, so why not? But the team, another draw against Arsenal this week where, quite honestly, they could have won. Or last week, I should say. But other than that, not too much shakeup. Spurs getting back on track with a win over Villa this past weekend. And then if you want to show the full table, scroll down to the bottom so you can see Norwich.
Yeah, I don't think they'll move from that spot the entire season,
to be honest.
A point,
but they got a point. We got to, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
They did get a point. Look at that D at the end, the nice little draw there.
I'm just happy for them to get a point, honestly. I'm just proud of them. So
yeah. Then we've got tied for 18th and 19th, basically.
The richest club in the land sitting in 19th. We'll dive into that.
We'll get into that for sure later on. And then we got Burnley hanging out 18th. Southampton just above the line with 4 points, 4 draws. They will definitely look to be getting some wins on this nice run that they have coming up. I will talk a little bit about that later on because I actually have Southampton attacker that's been sitting in my team because I wildcarded early. So hopefully he finally comes good. Leeds still off to a rough start. Watford sacking their manager before any other Premier League team, Ben, and bringing in the man, the myth, the legend, Claudio Ranieri. What do you think about that appointment?
I think it was necessary. I think that Watford knows that it's a survival campaign for them. Pretty much every year they're in the Premier League, they're not going to be competing with stuff. So why not bring in someone that's experienced in that, someone that's been through that with Leicester and obviously experienced the best you can winning the Premier League.
Right.
I have no problem with Ranieri being brought back in. I hope he gives them a bounce. I have nothing against Watford. I love Sarr for fantasy Premier League reasons. Obviously, tough draw your first match back and you're facing Liverpool. That's never what you want, but
yeah. I think a lot of people forget that he also had a spell with Fulham that did not go well at all. Having said that, I think this team is much more well-suited to kind of how he wants to play. We saw, obviously, with the title-winning Leicester side that they were a very good counter-attacking team, and I think this Watford team has some pieces that he can work with more so than what he had to work with at Fulham in that relegation season of what was it? I think it was 18-19. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Good to see him back. Hopefully, who knows, we may see Liverpool have a tough game this weekend if a new manager bounce comes.
Struggle against Watford occasionally, so we'll see what happens. But that's the table.
Yep.
Not too much movement.
What was there any shock surprises for you in terms of results this past? I know it was about 2 weeks ago at this point, but any shock surprises for you in game week 7?
Just honestly, Brighton again impressing me without Yves Bissouma, who might not come back. We'll kind of stay away from that. You can Google that on your own if you want.
Yep.
But without Bissouma, who's obviously their best player at the club, essentially dominated the game against Arsenal. Arsenal really didn't generate many chances, bar one good Smith Rowe run, and it was It was very bright and heavy in that game. So they just continue to impress me every single week. Graham Potter is one of the best managers in this league.
Yeah, they're very good at home. They're very good at
Yeah.
the Annex, and we're impressive, especially, and we'll get into it more when we get to that game, but Cucurella was an absolute monster that game.
Absolute monster, man.
But yeah, I think this race up top is going to be super fun to watch to the very end, genuinely. Like, they're all so close. Everton being up there at 14 points is a little bit of a shock to me still, honestly, but they're holding on. And they played well this past week to get a point against United. So yeah, well, let's you want to go ahead and get into the games?
Let's just go
results.
We'll go through last week's results. We won't try to keep you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of try and fly through these for the most part because, you know, from a fantasy point of view, it's kind of a dry week. If you had anything above 40 points, really, you had a okay week, which is drab to say the least. But yeah, getting into this game, Ben, we finally saw Martial back in the starting lineup and actually getting a nice goal, kind of.
Yeah, Martial with the goal. Obviously, the bigger story here from fantasy is Ronaldo was on the bench. And obviously, I think that is not going to stick because they didn't win.
No.
And Ole, as he always is under a lot of pressure now that you don't start your best players, you don't win, and it looks bad. Did Martial score? Yes. Did you win? No. And they're also in a little bit of trouble because Varane and Maguire are potentially injured. I know Varane is confirmed injured, but Maguire might also be out. So Man United going into a tough stretch of games without their top two center backs and their captain.
Yeah.
So other than that, going to Everton, Doucouré, another assist, another goal contribution for the big man.
What an assist that was too.
He's so
His
good, bro.
footwork.
He's so good.
He took two Man United defenders out of the game and just played Townsend in for an easy bottom left corner slot away. And do we need to talk about the failed Ronaldo Selly?
I don't think it's failed. I think if you score at Man United against Ronaldo, you can hit the Ronaldo Selly. Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest Selly, but he hasn't been doing it as long as Ronaldo, so I'll cut him some slack.
Yeah, well,
I
actually
saw that Ronaldo gave him his jersey after the game.
Oh,
too,
did he really?
Yeah, I heard that
awesome.
He was a big Ronaldo fan. He said it was like a gesture of like
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I saw
not
him
an insulting thing at all.
Yeah, I saw him talk about it. Or Andros Townsend talk about it, and he said it was much more of a gesture of goodwill and just of, you know, he's always looked up to Ronaldo. So that's cool to see. And I am continuously impressed by Abdoulaye Doucouré as an FPL asset this year. Really?
Yeah, he continues to do it on both sides of the pitch in terms of just gameplay. He's everywhere, man. Yeah. He's brilliant.
He's getting a lot of comparisons this year, and I know this is a stretch, so don't get me wrong. I don't think they're on the same playing field. He would have to do it for a much longer time. But he's getting comparisons to Yaya Toure when he was playing in this City team, and how he's box to box, and he's still a goal scorer. So very, very impressive from him, and a great result for Everton and Benitez in general to get a draw coming away from Old Trafford. What do you think about this United team moving forward? Are we gonna see, is Martial gonna just go straight back onto the bench?
Yeah, Ronaldo's coming back into this team 100%. You don't buy Ronaldo to keep him on the bench.
Yeah,
it really
absolutely.
is that simple. So congrats, Martial, for your goal. Happy to see you score again, but it's not going to be a long-serving thing. There's too much talent on this team. I think that this team lacks an identity with Ole as their manager. I think they rely on individual brilliance too much, but I don't want to stick around and talk about United forever because we can do that another week after.
Yeah, I do want to talk about briefly that Marcus Rashford is back in training finally.
Yeah.
So he's bouncing back from this injury, the surgery that he had. He had been playing through it all last season, wasn't truly himself, didn't have a great season. So one to monitor for sure. I know some people still have Mason Greenwood in their teams. I doubt anybody has Sancho in their team right now, but it'll be interesting to see what this starting front three looks like when Rashford is back healthy, because they'll have to choose from Martial, Greenwood, Rashford, Sancho. And then obviously we think the main staples will be Ronaldo and Bruno. So
I think at some point we will see a Rashford, Ronaldo, Sancho front three.
You think?
With Bruno in behind. I think at some point he will just have to try it. Whether that comes in the Prem or
Yeah.
in Europe, I don't know. But I do think at some point we'll see it. But obviously Sancho has been far from impressive since joining. So
Well,
I
and
don't see
did
it happening
did
right
Sancho? Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Sancho played on the right for Dortmund, or did
He
he play?
did.
Okay.
He would play. He would play both. He would switch wings a lot, so he
So
could play
yeah, I
on
mean,
both.
I think they're really trying to get this Ronaldo as the focal point team,
Mhm.
and a team lining up with Rashford on the left, who's very good on the wing, the left wing, and then maybe Sancho will feel a bit more comfortable on that right hand side.
Yeah,
Both putting in crosses and attempts into Ronaldo. That may be the road to success long term for them, because I don't see Greenwood staying in this team long term personally, playing
no,
off the
I
right.
don't. I think he'll fall to FA Cup games, honestly, and then potentially if things aren't looking great for them in Champions League right now, so if
Yeah.
they fall to Europa League, I could see him getting more minutes,
Yeah.
specifically because I don't think they would play Ronaldo in Europa League.
Sweet. Well, yeah.
So
Just wanted to talk
enough
about
on
that
that.
briefly. This is absolutely nothing to say about this
Just skip it.
whatsoever.
Just skip
Honestly,
it.
we might as well skip it. The only thing I'll say on this one is I finally lost my streak.
Took Chris
So
Wood.
sad. Took Chris Wood against Norwich.
Bag.
And yeah, this was absolutely dry, boring game. Literally nothing to get into. The one thing I will say is I did say Burnley defense will start to be in the mix, and this was the game that started that run. So I don't dislike Burnley defense in the likes of Charlie Taylor, a Matt Loughton. Just because they're cheaper. I probably wouldn't pay the extra money for Tarkowski or me, but you could if you wanted the extra goal threat. There's literally nothing to say on this.
That's it. Chelsea, Timo Werner has been subject of a lot of talk from a lot of FPL assets lately. I've even thought about him, and I don't rate him that much as a player. But
I can't. I really hope you bring him in your team. I'm going to be relentless.
I'm not yet, but I'm not going to do it this week. But I've definitely thought about it, because if they keep doing this two striker formation, he's been the one generating more shots.
Yep.
Yeah. That being said, he is Werner, and he misses all the shots. But
well, he finally was on target this week.
He finally scored this week. So congratulations to him. Another big talking point for this one that you're not happy about, is seeing Marcus Alonso benched.
Yep.
Probably benched for.
Bench Ilwell is no longer bench Ilwell.
Yeah. Tough for me. I had Alonso as my player pick. Obviously, I said if he doesn't play, I'll take Rudiger, and Southampton scored, which ruined that.
Yep.
But
I think there's a good bit to talk about in this game, actually, from an FPL point of view. Like you said, Chilwell back in this team. I thought that would be the case after seeing him come off the bench for Marcus Alonso in the Champions League game and playing rather well in that second half in the Champions League. This is frustrating, right, to me, or any Marcus Alonso owner, because we started off the season and Alonso was starting, and we're like, okay, well, Ben Chilwell's like just waiting in the wings, like he'll come into this team for sure. And then it gets about 6 game weeks in, Alonso's starting game after game after game. Ben Chilwell's not getting any game time whatsoever, and we're like, okay, am I overthinking this? Should I just be getting in one of the best attacking left wing backs in the league if he's going to get start after start after start and worry about it later on? And finally, I came to a decision. I was, on wildcard, I was like, well, I want a double Chelsea defense, and Alonso's starting game after game. It looks like a no-brainer at this point, honestly. I'm just going to bring him in. And then finally, when it comes around to the game that I want him for, granted, they didn't keep a clean sheet, but, Chilwell got the goal. It could have easily been Alonso, and he's on the bench. So, yeah, I'll get to that more on when we look at our teams and my thoughts on that in the future. But Azpilicueta was the big name, because I know a lot of people that actually did wildcard this week brought in Azpi over Alonso. We even advised for that after seeing Alonso maybe falling out of this team. And he came up with 2 assists, which is absolutely not going to happen most game weeks.
No,
but a 10-pointer,
it's not a common thing for him. But he had a banging game.
A 10-pointer this game week is huge in terms of point swings in not only mini leagues but also overall rank. So, well done to you guys who brought in Azpilicueta. It did annoy me slightly because I felt
Yeah.
unlucky, but it is
You
what it
felt a
is.
little bit, but it happens. And yeah, I mean, for Southampton, if you have Livermento,
Mhm.
he Southampton goes into a nice little run of games here. He could be someone that you think about starting, specifically if you just have him on your bench.
Yeah, he's a perfect
And
bench fodder right now.
he's a perfect bench, specifically if you bought him at 4.0, which I
Mhm.
think we both did.
Yeah.
He's terrific bench fodder because this week there's questions over Rudiger's health. So if you're like me, I think you have Rudiger as well,
Yeah,
honestly.
I do.
And we're both probably going to start Rudiger on the off chance he doesn't start. Livermento comes in, simple
Right.
as.
Yeah,
So
it's funny to see Ward Prowse score the penalty off Livermento's
yeah, his foul or getting
foul
fouled. Yeah,
in the box, and then go on to get a red card like maybe 10 minutes later. So
yeah, tough
um,
break. But Southampton have a good run of fixtures coming up.
yep.
Ward Prowse obviously won't be playing in a couple of them, but he is the free kick expert in the Premier League. So maybe down the road or something, someone takes a punt on him as a differential.
Yeah,
but,
well, this is actually exciting to me to see Ward Prowse get a red card, because this means, and I don't know if you saw, Che Adams actually came off with a bit of a knock playing for Scotland internationally over the week.
mm-hmm.
I think he'll probably be okay to play. But I brought in Adam Armstrong 2 weeks ago. I wildcarded with game week 8 in mind. And maybe I went a little bit too long-term thinking on that pick, but I'm hoping that he finally starts to come good, because he's a great differential right now. Very little people have him, and he may even be on penalties with Ward Prowse out of the team. So I really like that pick moving forward. Like you said, Livermento, a great pick. I don't know if there's really anybody else.
If you got him at 4.0, just hold for as long as you can, because he's been brilliant.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
Unless for whatever reason you're trying to play a 5 in the back formation with like 5
good defenders, like top defenders, then no.
Yeah, but otherwise Livermento's what you want for sure. So. I don't know if there's anybody else in the Southampton team that I would be looking to get in. I did say Ward Prowse would score goals upcoming. Now obviously he's got a red card, so he'll be out for
miss a couple weeks.
A couple weeks. So, but I don't think there's really anybody else in this team that I would highlight other than maybe Elyounoussi. He is I think he's 5.4 million. No.
Just look, you have Armstrong, you have Livermento. I wouldn't. There's better options at 5.4.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying it's not.
If you want to take a gamble
and
a punt, you can do that. But I just think there's a lot better options within like 0.2 of that price range.
Well, let's talk about Chelsea, Ben. What do you think about this? Is that 2 or 3? That's 2 blanks in a row for Lukaku.
Yeah. So Lukaku was someone that I was looking to potentially bring in this week. Swap Ronaldo and then Traore and bring in Lukaku and someone else.
Right.
And then what happened was people were talking about Werner on Twitter, and I was like, maybe I can get Werner instead. But I also don't like Werner that much because he misses a lot of shots and he would make me angry. And then the new FIFA dropped, and I was playing FIFA 22, right? I'm dead serious. I was playing FIFA 22. And I got Lukaku for my team. And, brother, he was so bad. I swore I wouldn't get him in my FPL team because he was so bad on FIFA. And I was just like, I can't take this guy. I don't want him to be on my team in
There's
FIFA.
no way that's your logic right now.
Yeah, it is, bro. He was so slow on the ball. You couldn't score a goal. I got Aubameyang now. He's terrific in FIFA and real life. So, yeah, I'm not bringing in Lukaku this week because he just made me so angry on FIFA with how poor he was.
Yes, jokes aside, if you're a Lukaku owner, and obviously we'll get more into this later on because we had plenty of questions about kind of international break injuries and what those are, and if we think there's any weight to those. Lukaku's one of those names, but are you worried as a Lukaku owner? You expecting?
I wouldn't be. Yeah. I wouldn't be because he scored a goal that was offside this game, so it's not like he's like. And I know that you look at the shots. Werner has 8 over the past couple of weeks. Lukaku has 2, and obviously that doesn't count the one that Lukaku scored that was offside. And I still think he's getting in good positions. I still think that even if he doesn't score, he will be the guy that provides the assist a lot of the time. I know this week is a lot with Azpilicueta and then the corner kick for the other one.
Right.
I wouldn't panic on Lukaku yet. I think that if you're trying to budget and go big somewhere else, I don't think Werner's a terrible option, which is weird for me to say, but I really don't think that Werner's that bad of an option right now. He's someone I might look to get in later.
Well, and I talked to you about this. If you're getting in Werner, I don't think it's a Werner over Lukaku personally.
It could be both.
I think it's possibly both if you don't have double defense. So this is an interesting one. I do think let's talk about quickly the defense situation for FPL wise. I know we cover it every week, but it changes every week, so it's viable. So right now, if you were looking to get in defenders for Chelsea, would you be looking at Ben Chilwell?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah?
Surely you have to. I'm not saying he's my first choice, but over Alonso right now, I think you have to.
Okay.
The way he's been playing, what he's
yeah.
been doing recently, I think that he has to go over Alonso in the depth chart for them at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of question marks around Rudiger's health and Christensen. Is he going to play? Is Thiago Silva being spared for Champions League games?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a conversation we have every week, and we'll try not to have it, not to kill you guys with too much of that today. But I definitely think Chilwell is someone that you do now have to seriously take a look at if you don't already have double Chelsea defense, or if you're trying to get Alonso out.
And he's down to 5.6 mil, I think, now.
Yeah,
so he's actually cheaper. Price. He's cheaper than Aspi, he's cheaper than Alonso, and he's cheaper than
Rudiger, right? Rudiger's 5'7". Yeah, I brought Rudiger in at 5'5", but he's 5'7" now.
Yeah, I think personally for me, and maybe this is just because I already got burnt by it, I still think Alonso will come in and out of this team. I wouldn't want the headache, so I would probably just go with an Aspi, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely better options.
I mean,
I think that Chilwell right now has to go above where Alonso's at.
Yeah. Well, you could make a case for it as well if you wanted to bring in Chilwell, right? We just talked about how Livramento is a great bench fodder. If Chilwell doesn't play, Livramento goes straight in, and then you're not that mad about it. The only thing I will say is Chilwell and Alonso both, and Reece James, Tuchel has been known to use them as subs late in the game if they don't start, because they are more attacking. So I don't know. It's an iffy one for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. Okay. We'll come back with questions that people ask specifically at the end.
This was another kind of dry game, Ben. 1-0 to Leeds.
Yeah,
they finally got a win though.
Really boring.
This was their first win of this season.
It was, 1-0. Llorente, the center half, scoring off a corner, I believe.
Yep. Disappointing from Watford. Obviously, this kind of spurred.
This is a banged up Leeds team, and obviously we're both Sarr owners. A lot of people are Sarr owners these days. He has a tough run of fixtures and then a really good run of fixtures, so depends how you want to handle that situation with him. Mm-hmm. But I expected more from him this game. I expected more just from Watford as a team, and part of that could be they knew their manager was leaving. They weren't playing for him. So they're an interesting case with that new manager bounce that we touched on at the top of the episode. Mm-hmm. For Leeds, just so injury riddled, but credit to them for getting a result, honestly.
Yeah. Well, this one was disappointing just from an FPL point of view, to be honest. But it was a great result for Leeds. I think this result probably spurred the letting go of their manager and hiring Ranieri. They would have really wanted some sort of result out of this, even if it was just a point. And I think a lot of us were going into it expecting probably one of Sarr or Rafinha to return, and neither of them did. So a bit disappointing there. If you are a Rafinha owner, we will get more into this later on, but he is set to return very late from international duty, as is multiple Brazilians, including Gabriel Jesus, Alisson, and Ederson. And Fabinho obviously not of FPL note, but we're not sure if he will start this next week or not. Yeah. If you own him, obviously I would play him, put him in your starting, and then if he
not,
doesn't,
then have a decent sub lined up, basically.
So,
anyways, not much on this one. Foster starting again for Watford. I don't think that's a long-term thing.
No, neither do I. I think we'll see the other keeper come back in, Bachmann.
Yeah,
so
Bachmann, but I do love Foster as a person. So
yeah, the cycling GK. If you don't follow him, go follow him on YouTube. He's a fun
He's mad
follow.
Funny, man. He's mad funny. Wolves 2, Newcastle 1. The new FPL darling. Wang.
Is he? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
Everybody, all my Twitter feed is this week is Wang and this and Wang that, and how can you fit him in? And he's the differential for you. And all my days, everyone is so big.
So
on this
Hwang
guy.
Hee-chan, he has the nickname the Bull, and he has come into this league. Obviously, he didn't start the first couple game weeks, and he bagged a brace this week against Newcastle, who have been the worst defensive team in the league, bar Norwich. So, everybody is. A lot of people on Wildcard specifically are thinking about bringing Hwang into their team because, you know, he is an enabler. He does enable a 3-striker formation or maybe a 2-striker formation if you want to put him on the bench. Obviously, if you have a Jimenez, you're not going to bench him in any given game week because of his price. You're going to play him every week, right? So if you had to choose right now, Ben, between Hwang in your FPL team at 5.6 million or Jimenez in your FPL team at, what is he? I think he's back up to 7.5 after an initial fall.
7.5, yeah.
Who are you going with and why?
I still like Jimenez.
Okay.
I still like Jimenez. I think that he still can be that guy. He used to be that guy before that injury that he sustained against Arsenal last year. He had 2 assists in this game, so even if you had him, it's not like, oh, you're really kicking yourself.
He ran the show for them.
He did everything.
He set up Hwang. To be fair, Hwang had 2 really good finishes in opposite bottom corners.
Yeah.
But Jimenez
but
played
they were both set up by Jimenez.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's the focal point of this offense, obviously moving forward.
Exactly. And if they do decide to differentiate and they didn't start Traore this week, if they do decide to bring him back in, Jimenez isn't the one that's going to be sacrificed. All right. Jimenez isn't moving. He isn't losing his place. If he's fit, if he's healthy, he's starting. Right. End of discussion.
Right.
So I'm still sticking with Jimenez. I do think that he will start bagging more soon.
Yeah.
I do think that a lot of people are being a bit reactionary with Hwang. It is 2 goals in a game week, and you see that, and you're like, oh my God, you gotta go get him. You gotta go get him.
Well, the argument I was seeing, Ben, and this is actually, I think, a fair argument, right? Is we've seen the past 3 years, whoever really partners Jimenez up top for Wolves has some success. So 2 years ago, we saw Jota, obviously, who was fantastic for Wolves, and was that their first season up? It might have been their second season up. I can't remember.
Their second, but yeah.
But Jota had a really good season partnering Jimenez up top. They were both assisting and scoring with each other. And then last season, even the likes of your boy, Adama Traore, was getting on the score sheet or assisting Jimenez, playing up top in the 2 with him every once in a while. So now the focus has shifted, to Hwang Hee-chan, who's this new partner for Jimenez. Is he the next FPL darling? And no. I'm not fully sold on him yet. I don't dislike him as a pick. But I agree with you. If I was going to pick one of the 2, I would try and find a way to bring in Jimenez over Hwang.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Okay.
Anyways, stay away from Newcastle. They're just, I mean, if you have St. Maximin, maybe, but other than that, just stay away.
Yeah, I would agree until January transfer window, and we'll get into that later on. We might see some new players in this league.
Crazy.
Obviously, we'll talk about it later on. It's one of the topics that we have, but if you don't already know, a Saudi company, is it even a company? It's a consortium, basically.
They're taking over Newcastle
that have completely bought 100% of Newcastle United away from their previous owner. And they are by far and away the most wealthy owners in the Premier League now.
Not even close.
So they put City to shame. Like
literally,
it looks like
Chelsea nothing. Money. Arsenal nothing. Yep. Man United nothing.
Yep. It's literally, I might even bring up a graphic later on that shows that.
Oh, the one that I sent you. Yeah.
Let's move on.
So boring.
There's
boring.
not a whole lot to talk about in this one either.
I have Sanchez. You have Ramsdale. We both got clean sheet points.
That was my only return of the week, Ben.
Yikes! Yeah, that's harsh.
And we'll get into that later. I had a rough one.
Yeah, no, I had Tierney as well. So I mean, I'll take another return there, but it wasn't pretty. No team really created terrific chances. Cucurella, far and away the best player of the game, dominated the entire game, was terrorizing Tomiyasu on the right. It was a real welcome to the Premier League game for the new right back.
Yeah. Had 3 bonus to go for it in FPL as well. I didn't even realize
3 bonus. He was terrific. Arsenal looked out of ideas on the day, and they rolled out basically the same team that faced Spurs and dropped 3 within 30 minutes. They were missing Granit Xhaka through injury for 3 months. Lokanga came in for him, pretty much a like for like, did not do as good of a job as Xhaka did against Spurs nearly as well. Obviously, Xhaka's a seasoned veteran, and Lokanga's like 23 or something, so you don't expect it. But Yeah, interesting to see if Arsenal keep going with Partey and Lokonga going forward, or if they drop Smith Rowe and Odegaard a little more central and bring Pepe in.
Yeah, I
But
would like to see
we'll
that in
see.
games. Honestly, in games like this,
Yeah, I would
especially,
have liked to see
I
that in
hope I
this
hope we play like that in this upcoming game this week against Crystal
against
Palace at
Palace.
home.
Yeah,
Um,
but we'll see. I mean, there's really not much to say about this game
yeah,
at all. Like,
nope,
I got
not at
nothing.
all.
Boring, very boring. You guys know our thoughts. I'm not wearing an Arsenal jersey, not because we tied, but it's international break, so I had to
Rep the England jersey.
rep England jersey for
Um,
Saka and Smith
yeah,
Rowe.
I still like if you're on wild card. I think Ramsdale personally is the best keeper moving
Goalkeeper,
forward.
yeah. I don't think
know
Sanchez is a bad shout either, but
yeah. Yeah, I mean Ramsdale's up to 4.6 now, so you do have to
so
pay
is
0.1
Sanchez.
more. Okay, he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody's really bringing in Sanchez. You probably
No.
either started with him, so yeah, one to
Ramsdale's
look
not
at.
a
I
bad
still
shout.
like I still like Arsenal defense
Spot.
and Brighton defense is decent as well. Like I said, if I was investing in Arsenal, I would be looking more towards their defense. Are you, Bennett? If you owned Saka or Emile Smith Rowe, what are you thinking going into these next couple games?
I think I like Smith Rowe. Saka is, I don't know. Saka's so hit and miss. He's so hit and miss. Smith Rowe is to an extent, but Smith Rowe has been better this season than Saka has.
I agree.
I like Smith Rowe more just for the price point. Just for the price point, I like Smith Rowe more. He's 5.4. He was at 5.3. He went up to 5.4 after his big day against Spurs.
Yep.
He's still 5.4. I think that's incredible value for someone that's going to start the majority of games for Arsenal this season.
Yeah.
So
I agree. All right. Anything else to say on this one?
Nah, this next one though.
We're flying.
I think we're trying to.
Yeah.
I think that Crystal Palace are so unlucky with this result. Watching the highlights back, obviously I didn't get to watch all the games this week, as we mentioned.
You thought Crystal Palace were unlucky with this?
Yeah, I think that Leicester went 2-0 up in very smash and grab fashion. Anderson with a huge mistake for the first one, second one, similar fashion. And from what I saw, Crystal Palace were essentially dominating the game. I believe the call for the announcer after Vardy's goal, the second goal, was if a scoreline ever didn't tell the story of the match, it's this one, Leicester 2, Crystal Palace 0. So I think that Palace were unlucky on the day. Very good to come back and snatch a point in the second half, 2 goals. Once again, pretty fantasy duds. I don't think anyone has Jeffrey Schlupp or Olsi or Olesi. I'm saying his name wrong.
Yeah, he's new. He's brand new. He came off the bench.
So, yeah, I don't think anyone's got anything there. Good to see Iheanacho start and get a goal.
Yeah, well, dude, we've been crying out for him. First game he started. I mean, granted, like you said,
it was given to him. It was given to him.
Horrible mistake by Anderson.
But he was the one that impressed me. Anderson was actually targeted or scouted at least by Arsenal and Tottenham this summer. Ended up going to Palace, but he had a really good season at Fulham. Okay. Yeah, so he was on loan from Lyon. For those of you that didn't know, last season when he was with Fulham, he was on loan from French club Lyon. Bought permanently by Palace this year. Not like him to make those mistakes. But Iheanacho snatches up. Cool as you like Pascaita. Vardy more or less the same when he took his chance.
Vardy is just consistent this season so far, Ben. He's
aging like a fine wine.
His next few are not that easy. Now, granted, he's going up against a
depleted
United defense with maybe Maguire out, definitely Varane out. But after that, he faces Brentford away, Arsenal at home, Leeds away, Chelsea home. So it's a mixed bag, not a great run of fixtures, but we've known for seasons that Vardy can score against absolutely anyone. And
it's what he does. It's literally just what he does. Hardy Barnes with an assist, by the way, this game.
Let me ask you this question, right? You and I still plan to probably bring in Lukaku for Ronaldo. Should we be bringing in Vardy instead?
He's not someone that I haven't thought about. It's definitely something I've considered because of Werner's production and his shots and Lukaku's lack of chances. Vardy doesn't need many chances to score. The man's clinical. He's one of the all-time great goal scorers in the Premier League, and if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. He really just is.
Well put.
And he is, man. He just is. And it's so fun to watch him still do this at his age. I think he's 35 now or something? 34. Yeah. So to me, he's not losing his spot, right? We've been crying out for Iheanacho to come in, but we were never even crying out for him to come in for Vardy. No. It was always play them together.
Right.
So he's never going to lose his spot in this team. He's on penalties. He is not a bad shout if you're trying to bet a little more.
I like him. I really do. I don't know if
I might wait a couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't love the fixture run, but honestly,
I might wait a couple weeks. Well, it's the thing. Is he fixture proof?
That's the thing. If there ever was a fantasy asset that I would look at and be like, this guy's fixture proof, it'd be Jamie Vardy.
Oh, for me, it's Salah, but
Well, over the years, I mean, Salah is on a new level right now. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But over the years, Salah has not been the best in the big games. Yeah. Vardy always scores in the big games. It seems like
he's a big game player, just like Lacazette. So,
hey, I think you know what I think we need real quick, Ben. We need a round of applause. You know who we need a round for who?
You tell me. This is
Harvey Barnes owners, man.
I just said, I literally mentioned, I'm like, Harvey Barnes got an assist. I wanted to shout him out.
Hey,
if you held until now. Just go to the next game. We're done. We're ending it. You clap for Harvey Barnes.
Oh my God.
We're done.
All right.
Spurs bounce back. Spurs bounce back against Villa. Son with 2 assists, an own goal, I believe. Yeah,
Matt Target turned it in. I mean, it was a shot by Son.
It was a shot by Lucas, I think, hit it last, I believe.
Oh, that's right.
Or maybe it was Son, and he hit it, and Lucas was next to Target or something.
Yeah, I thought it was a Lucas goal, actually, to be honest.
I think they originally marked it as that, and then went back and saw he didn't touch it. So good for Son owners. You get 2 assists. Other than that,
Ollie Watkins, back on the score sheet finally.
Getting on the score sheet, good for him to do that. Target got the assist for that. Bit of a dud game for him. Gets the assist and then scores. Very, very unlucky on the own goal, but for fantasy, that's tough. Emmy with 6 saves. Spurs bouncing back after back-to-back games where they conceded 3 goals. So good for them for getting back. Did Kane start this game?
Has he started any game this season?
Yeah, sometimes he's apparently on the field.
Dude, all jokes aside, he's been very, very poor. He's
been atrocious. He's been atrocious. Say what it is. He's been absolutely. He doesn't want to be there. It's that simple. It's funny. I was watching NFL this Sunday morning, and the Falcons and the Jets were playing at Spurs Stadium. They do, NFL does these London crossovers. Right. And Kyle Pitts, the tight end for the Atlanta Falcons, had the best performance I've seen on Spurs pitch this year. By a mile. Brother was ripping them up.
Did we win?
We won. We beat the Jets. Falcons beat the Jets. So
that shows you how much I watch the NFL now.
Yeah, but Kyle Pitts had the best performance on Spurs pitch this entire season. He was going crazy.
I need to start playing fantasy NFL again so I can watch NFL games.
Yeah, you do. It's so much fun. I play fantasy football NFL version as well, guys. So if you have any questions about that, you can hit me up. First and Ben.
All right. Well, yeah. It was a good result for Spurs. Nuno needed this, obviously, after the
he desperately needed this. His neck was on the line. People were calling for his job before the Arsenal game, and then after that, a lot more people were calling for his job. So,
what do you think about Aston Villa? They're going to, I think it's after next week, actually. I want to look at it real quick. But I think they start a decent run of fixtures against... Actually, no, I lied. They definitely don't.
Yeah,
they play Wolves at home this week, and then they go into Arsenal away, West Ham at home, and then they have a decent run of Southampton, Brighton, Crystal Palace. But if you were going to pick one of Ollie Watkins or Danny Ings right now for FPL, who would you pick?
Watkins.
Really?
Ings has 1 assist in his last 4 games. That's it. I'm gonna go with Watkins. He's getting better. He's looking good. He's getting in dangerous positions. Now that Ings isn't also doing that, but right now I think based off of form, you have to pick Watkins.
Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree. I like Ollie Watkins as a pick now that he's playing with Ings in tandem.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. And I don't think many people are investing in Aston Villa right now, and I definitely wouldn't recommend to do so. But, I just wanted to kind of put that out there. I think Son's still a good pick. If you're going to pick a Spurs player, it's got to be Son and nobody else.
Random price rise I've ever seen this week.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere, to be honest. I don't even think anybody bought him. I think I don't understand.
I don't know why they raised his price by 0.1, but whatever. Moving on.
Okay.
Oh, this one killed me because Zuma was so close to a goal. Zuma almost scored, bro.
Is he
Like
still in your team, bruh?
yeah, dude, because he's gonna bag soon.
Oh my
Yeah,
dear
he is. He's
lord.
literally gonna bag soon, and he literally hit like the outside of the post and like this outside of the net with the header in this game. And I was like,
Hey, you
dude,
know what he did get? A yellow.
yeah, of course he had 0 points. Doesn't matter. That's not what's important. Rice is the real. Rice is the
Oh
goat on this team,
my
anyways.
lord.
But
I mean, okay, so
yeah,
we got to talk about Brentford, man. They
Embuemo, 5.5 midfielder.
Is he still 5.5? Has he not risen?
Still, I looked it up.
Good
5.5.
night.
He's
Here's the thing,
5.5.
right?
I might bring him in, honestly.
I think, dude, if I was bringing in any midfielder 6 million or less right now, it'd be Brian Mbuemo.
I might bring him in. I was thinking I'll get into my team later, but it might have
They
to
don't
be
have a
him.
great fixture this next week, obviously, against Chelsea.
Yeah, this is
So,
still
I
my
mean,
bag,
you
though.
don't love that. But after this Chelsea game, they go into a good run again.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to him. I think that if you don't have Tony, if you want a cheap midfielder, there's so many around that 5.5 price. You can look at Smith Rowe, you can look at him, you can look at Ducouré, you can look at Damari Gray, you can look at Gallagher at 5.7. There's so many around there, but he has to be one of the first names on that list at
I
this
agree.
point. He's playing striker for them.
Yeah, and he's not moving from that spot anymore.
No, it's him and it's Tony, and it's pretty locked as you like at this point.
Yeah, well, okay, so funny story. You know how you were talking about how Warner has 8 shots to Lukaku's 2 in the last 2 games?
How many has he outshot Tony by?
Well, no, that's not what I was going to say. Somebody quote tweeted that tweet and said, and put up Visas, the Brentford guy who's come on the last 2 weeks and gotten the game tying goal against Liverpool and the game winning goal against West Ham, and quoted their XG, and it was like Visas XG, and it was like 3 point something, and then it was Salah's XG over the last 2, and it was like 0.66. So it's just showing how like stats can be framed in any way that you want them to be.
It's all stats are. Oh no, stats are all well and good, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Right. So, I know you've been constantly impressed by Brighton. I've been beyond impressed with Brentford.
Oh yeah, of
in
course.
terms of their expectations for this season. I think they have way outperformed anything anybody ever expected of them so far.
That money ball. It's that money ball. That's literally what they base their club on, dude. They literally have like a money ball calculate, like people that do all that, and they go find undervalued players, bring them in, and have them perform to the levels they're expected to. It's not. It's all statistically run by them, and it's working just brilliantly right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I've been so impressed by them, and that's why I'm not rushing. Honestly, their form is the reason I'm not rushing to get Lukaku into my team this week, because
I don't blame you. They're scary.
They're a tough team to play right now. I wouldn't want to play them at home.
I don't want to play them. We got cooked by them at home, or their home. Yeah. Other than that, at West Ham, I think you still own Antonio. I own Antonio. Antonio owners, relax. He's still
okay, that's one thing I do want to talk about. I want to talk about Antonio, okay?
I say relax.
You say relax. You plan to keep him in the upcoming future?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't disagree with you, okay? But also, if you have a luxury transfer, right? So we're talking about luxury transfer, right? This is not a imminent move that needs to be made, right? He's still the top scoring striker in FPL right now. I don't know, like, earlier in the season, I would say if you didn't have him in your team, you're a psycho. If you were making a wild card today, Ben, would Antonio be in your team, honestly?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he still has to. I think that, like, yes, things look grim for him these past couple weeks because of the red card, because of getting that red card late in the game, losing points, missing a game week, and now obviously this blank against Brentford. I don't think that takes away from what he offers in this team. I don't think you can make a takeaway from that. Is he on penalties for them? I believe he is.
I don't know. They've only had one penalty all season. It was when what's his name came on and took it.
Oh, Noble. So I think that he very could well be on penalties, because obviously Noble's not taking them. I've seen Rice take them before, but they weren't comfortable, and obviously Lingard isn't there, who took them for them last year. So I still think he's an incredible asset. I think that he's still.
What are we saying about Benrahma?
No, stay away. He had a couple distant shots this game. He takes most of his shots from the top of the box. I think it's just too big of a gamble for the price gap, and you can get someone cheaper that will produce better. I think he had his little moment in the sun early in the season, and I would stay away.
I agree with you.
What were we saying about Rice?
The GOAT, right? Obviously,
I
right?
love it. I love
Declan
Declan
Rice.
Rice. Shout out Ryan McKee. Shout out Ryan McKee again, bro. Always.
We're just gonna shout him out every week when we talk about
Dude,
West Ham.
every time we talk about West Ham, we have to. As long as he has Rice in his team, he deserves it.
Yeah, Jared Bowen finally getting on the score sheet after
good for him, man.
Many
good
weeks.
For him.
So,
and the game of the
big game. What a game this was, dude! This was so fun to watch.
What a game! Mane, De Bruyne, Salah, and Foden all on the score sheet. Salah with the assist as well. He's just insane. He's on a different level. He really is. He really is.
He's literally unreal this season so far.
He's just on a completely different level.
Way the movement he had in order to set up Mane's goal, and then also the movement that he had in order to score that goal.
His own goal.
Disgusting.
It's just unreal. And then Man City, the one that was incredible to me was on Foden's goal, Bernardo Silva's little dance in the midfield to not only evade like 4 players, but one of them was Van Dijk, who's like never ever gets dribbled past, and he's just like out here just like,
dude, he's such a good player.
What? They're so loaded, dude. They're just so loaded, Man City. They're still my pick to win the league. I know Chelsea are top. I don't care. Yeah. City are still my pick to win the league. They're too deep. And honestly, this is the thing that the only reason that I'm scared that they won't win the league is because they will literally stop caring about it and solely focus on Champions League is my only concern.
Yeah, I can see that.
Anyways, Foden starting multiple Premier League games in a row now. Very interesting. It's him and Grealish were alternating as the false 9 this game. Grealish looked visibly lost during the game and was sent back to the left wing, and Foden was sent back into the number 9. Obviously, he did the job, scored a goal, class finish by him. He's class. And then other than that, I can't believe Milner wasn't sent off.
Dude, that was so bad. Like,
I don't know. I don't know what Klopp told the ref or paid the ref for him not to send James Milner off, but I think Pep was very just in all his screaming basically to get Milner, because Milner should not have finished that or been subbed off. He should have walked off the pitch and they should have been down to 10.
Okay.
But
yeah, well, so that's 3 goals in 3 games for Phil Foden against Liverpool.
He's so good, dude. He's just so good. He's just so good.
So
it's just if he plays, it's just Pep roulette.
Obviously, yeah. So De Bruyne finally on the score sheet this season. I love me some KDB. I don't know. He's gonna be an interesting differential this season, Ben, because he's 11.9 million, and nobody's touching him right now, right? Because we've all got this basically template of Salah being our only expensive midfielder, and then we've got one of Ronaldo or Lukaku, and then a lot of us have a fairly expensive
average
defense
midfield,
right now.
All that stuff.
So nobody's touching him, and nobody's gonna take out Mohamed Salah for Kevin De Bruyne, right?
And you shouldn't.
What do you think about this? What do you think about instead of, and obviously this would be for wildcarders only because it's just tough to do if you're not on the wildcard. But what do you think about going for a double up of Salah and De Bruyne and not going Lukaku or Ronaldo?
I'm not opposed to it. My only concern is when Champions League comes back, Pep's going to want De Bruyne in that instead of in this, in the Prem.
Yeah,
so
well, Kevin De Bruyne is typically the only one that plays almost every game when he's fit.
Exactly.
So
for me, from what I've seen this year from City, the ones that are not playing in the Premier League to play in the Champions League have been Mahrez. Mahrez almost exclusively plays in Champions League. I've seen Foden playing more Premier League than Champions League. Obviously, he's coming back from injury, but multiple Premier League games in a row, he's gotten a start. And I could see if De Bruyne even gets like a thought of an injury, them just saying send Bernardo out there, send anyone, send Jesus to play right wing, send Bernardo, send Gundogan, send Rodri.
We'll talk about this more later on because this is one of the topics that we were going to talk about. Is it time to invest in Manchester City midfielders, and if so, who? So we'll cover that later on. After we go through our teams, we'll cover that more in depth. But what a game this was. Mane has been pretty consistent as an FPL pick. He's another one that almost nobody has, again, just because of that template that we all have right now. And I could see him being a template breaker at some point in the season if Liverpool continue to bag, and he's been on decent form.
Yeah, no, he's very, very impressive, and we'll see if he can continue that going forward.
Yep. The other thing of note, obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold missed this game for injury. We'll cover that later on as well. But having said that, do I have to bring up my team, Ben? I don't even want to look at it.
I got 1 point better than you, and I'm showing mine. So,
all right, here it is in all its glory, man. The 37-pointer. I think that this is the first game week this week that I've been below average on points. That does not happen very often, but we all have those game weeks, Ben. And so this is mine. Obviously, Captain Ronaldo being benched is infuriating. Rafinha not getting anything, Gallagher not getting anything. Literally nobody returned.
Everybody but Salah.
Other than Livermento, the king, getting me a assist, and Ramsdale getting me a clean sheet, and then obviously Salah with his goal and assist. Everybody else decided to take the day off for me, so that was brilliant. And then obviously we've got Alonso, who I even had vice-captained on my bench because he didn't play and didn't come on at all. So that's how my game week went. Cancelo actually had a really good in-game. Like, he played fantastic.
Yeah, he played well
for City. Unlucky. Like, he was all the announcers were talking about in the first half. And obviously it didn't show through his fantasy week because he got a yellow and they conceded twice. But very, very happy to have him moving forward. And
how many transfers do you have? 3 transfers.
Free transfers. I have 1. So
are you going to use it or are you going to roll it?
So I am so stuck. This is how I'm lined up for this coming game week, right? So we found out today that Trent Alexander-Arnold is cleared. He should be ready to start against Watford. I don't know why they still haven't flagged. I think they moved it from 50 to 75%.
He's gonna play.
But he's gonna play.
He was in full training.
And
Rudiger
then
also at 75.
Rudiger also at 75. He did not play for Germany in their most recent international game against North Macedonia, but I think that was just
Germany's already qualified. Germany's the first team or the host country to qualify for the World Cup, so they're in. They can take the rest.
I think that was just out of precaution. I would expect Rudiger to start at Brentford, and this is how I'm looking, Ben. So I've got this Alonso issue that's just staring me right in the face. It's saying,
are you going to start him, or are you going to leave Livermento as the sub if he doesn't play?
Well, so here's the thing right now, right? So I have Gallagher on the bench and I have Livermento on the bench. So if Rudiger doesn't start for whatever reason, even though I think he will, then obviously it'll change to a 3-4-3. Gallagher will come in for Rudiger. And then if Alonso also doesn't start, Livermento will come off the bench as well. Here's my thing. I'm happy, relatively, with the rest of my team. I don't want to take out Gallagher right now. I don't want to take out Rafinha right now, even if he doesn't play this week. That's another one who may not play this week. So bench may become important this week for a lot of people. And the only other one that I would be looking to get out is Sar, right? So
but isn't Sar? Show Sar's fixtures real quick. Because he has a tough run.
Yeah, he's got a really tough run. So
he has this. I think Everton is a little harsh to be marked as a red. I know they're in really good form, but.
Yeah, I mean, away is a tough fixture.
It is, sure. And then Southampton. After Southampton is when I think I might cash out on him and get rid. But
I'm looking. Here's my thing. So, and I'll get into my transfer thoughts. My transfer thoughts are, at the moment, just get rid of this Alonso issue and not have to worry about it. So I'm thinking about trading out my double Chelsea defense for double City defense and bringing in Diaz for Alonso. Yeah. So that takes care of that issue. Then after that, I'm not going to take a -4 this week, so that'll be my free transfer of the week. That's my current thoughts. I'm going to wait until the end of the game week. If there's murmurs saying, from the Chelsea camp that it looks like Alonso may be set to start, then maybe I roll with him for the week. And I could either roll my transfer, holy cow, or I could look to take out Sar. My options if I take out Sar aren't that great because I've got 1.1 million.
You got some money in the bank, low key.
So, but that leaves me with. So let's max cost. Let's bring it down to 7.7. Why is that? That's so weird.
Anyways, you have 7.3.
So the people I would be thinking about bringing in. What do Everton's fixtures look like?
They have a couple good ones after this week.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go there. So then I don't want to bring in Jota right now. Now's not the time and place. I would honestly probably be looking towards Saka or Emile Smith-Rowe.
Yeah.
Or maybe even Brian Mbeumo, but I wouldn't want to bring him in this week. So
show his fixtures again.
Then we get into, do I want to take a punt on a City midfielder? And that do I want to take a punt on a Fernan Torres who hasn't played the last 3 game weeks?
Scored for Spain, though. Scored for Spain over this international break.
Or the other one that I like low-key, and we'll get more into this later on when we talk about it, I like Bernardo Silva.
He had the most assists for like 2 months after Christmas break last year in the Premier League. He had the most assists in the league.
I low-key like it. The only worry I have been,
goal scorer.
Is, where is he? He's not even on here. But Gundogan is set to return, and Bernardo has been playing as a number 8 for them essentially.
Yeah.
Alongside Kevin De Bruyne.
With Rodri in behind.
Right,
yeah.
And typically Pep wants to have Gundogan in this team, so that could see Bernardo actually fall out.
It could also see Bernardo shift to the right. He's played as a right winger before.
I don't see it.
Could he move Jesus central? I mean, no one knows. Could he move Jesus central? What could he do?
There's just too much, to think about.
So for this week, are you holding Alonso or are you getting rid?
I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I will be waiting till the very last second. But the likely transfer is Alonso to Diaz for me, most likely, and I don't know if that's gonna hold or not. I'm not in a rush to bring in Lukaku for Ronaldo this week. I think they could equal out each other. Obviously, Ronaldo will start this game week, coming off a hat trick today in international play. 2 of those were penalties, but I'm happy to go with that. So this is probably what I'll roll out with. This Alonso could turn into Diaz. And, that's how I'll roll. Captaincy currently on Salah. I think Salah will be mass captain this game week, honestly.
Yeah, so I'll pull up mine real quick just to get it there. All right. So here's mine. This is my abysmal game week. 1 point better than Chris's on the average, 38. Rudiger not doing much. Tierney and Sanchez giving returns. Zuma with nothing but so close to a goal. Sarr with nothing. Traore and Jota with nothing. Antonio Ronaldo. I captained Aubameyang at Brighton. I was going to captain Ronaldo, so technically I made the right choice. Not pretty in the slightest, but it is what it is. What I'm thinking for transfers right now is we're going to get rid of Jota and we're going to get rid of Traore.
Okay.
And then what I'm thinking right now is I really like Phil Foden.
Okay.
I really
playing
like
the pep roulette, huh?
I really like Phil Foden in this team. He has a great run of games coming up. If Jesus keeps playing on the right as he is and as he's been saying, that's where he plays. Foden's the number 9, the false 9, the whatever, but Foden's in this team. He hasn't been playing in the Champions League.
I don't know. It could be Torres, man.
It could be Torres,
easily be Torres,
but it could also be Foden, and I think Foden is higher on the depth chart and higher on the give this guy minutes chart for Pep. Hopefully, we'll see.
Here's my theory, and you can disagree with this, right? This is what I think. Yeah. I think, and we haven't seen enough games yet where they're both in the mix to find out, but I think in tougher games, Phil Foden's going to play, and I think in easier games, we may see Torres play.
I don't know. I think that it all really depends basically on how City are doing in the Champions League and what he can afford to do. But this is what I'm thinking. I want to bring in Mbeumo. It's him or Doucouré, but I really like Mbeumo right now. Plays a second striker. Obviously, Chelsea this week, I wouldn't be bringing him in just for that. I'd be bringing him in.
But the next 4 to 5 after that, not bad at all.
For that. So if there's no return this week, that's whatever. It's a future one for him. And then for me, it's Foden. The other one that I was considering if I don't do Foden, which I think I'm going to do, is Zaha. I really like Zaha's after Arsenal, Newcastle, and then there's City, but he has some good games in there, and he's the penalty taker. The only thing is he can be very hit or miss, but on days when he's on, good lord, he's unplayable.
Well, okay, so what are you thinking about Zuma? Is he just a long-term hold for you? Because
Zuma's going to go soon. So what I plan to do is maybe wait another. How much do I have in the bank?
They have tough fixtures.
5.7. So what I'm thinking of doing is after this week against Everton, because if Everton still don't have Calvert-Lewin, I'm not opposed to keeping Zuma for a week. They might struggle to score. Then I might just take Zuma out and bring in Laporte immediately next week. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
Okay.
He's 5.5. I guess I could go for, let's see. So I'll have 0.7 in the bank if I get Foden. So if I remove him, select replacement.
Yeah, you just have enough for Diaz.
I could get Diaz. That's the other thing.
I think he'll rise in price over the next week, though.
Or I could get Asp and do double Chelsea defense.
Yeah.
So it'll be one of those two next week for me, Asp or
I like it.
Diaz.
But okay, so if you do that, then you still don't have Lukaku for the game against Norwich.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could take a -4 and bring him in, which doesn't sound terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know Ronaldo has tough games coming up. He has Leicester, then Liverpool, then Tottenham. But like also, it is Ronaldo. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. But my plan right now is Foden and Mbeumo in, Traore and Jota out, and then Zuma out for Diaz or Asp next week. That's what I'm planning on. And then maybe the week after that, bring in Lukaku, even though I won't get him for Norwich, or just take a -4 and get him in.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be going into that Norwich fixture without a Chelsea attacker, to be honest. But yeah, that sounds like a reasonable plan to me.
Yeah, that's my play. Foden's obviously the gamble, but I really like what I've seen from him lately. I hope Pep does too, and I hope he keeps playing him.
Sweet. Well, with that being said, Ben, I think we have a special guest that we're bringing on to the pod this week, Ben.
I think we do. If you want to bring them on out.
This has been widely requested by the followers of the podcast to
stop sharing my screen,
to bring in this special guest, and hopefully they come on.
Sounds like they're there, maybe.
Yeah,
potentially. There she
Ladies
is.
And gentlemen, we have Brighton Calloway. This is my wife wearing her. You gotta stand up. You gotta show. You gotta show.
You're right. Let's see. We gotta.
So it's a Brighton jersey. Show the back. Yeah, the back.
Ooh, obviously it's reversed, but
there it is.
It says Calloway.
Shout
out to Ryan McKee again, because that was a super awesome wedding gift
really great
from him, and I got a Emile Smith Rowe jersey for an Arsenal jersey, and it looks awesome as well. So, but yeah, Brighton, we wanted to bring you on the pod, not only because, we just got married, but we want some of your FPL advice, because you're just currently owning the league.
So everyone can hear you, Brighton, if you just want to speak into the mic and give us your advice.
Bit more into the mic here,
sorry.
But you're good. I'm going to go ahead and bring up your team, Brighton, and we'll show how you did this week. And then you can give your thoughts on what you're going to be doing going into next week and so on and so forth. But here we go. Let's bring it up here. There we go. The team name, Bao Chicka Zhao Zhao. You love that team name, don't you?
I love it. It's fire.
So here
I cannot take credit for that, though.
Yeah.
Brighton's team.
Well, 47 points in a game week for the average is 38. That's pretty solid, B.
It's a very solid return.
Well, it's nice that you think that.
Yeah, but you don't think that?
It's a good return. Trust for a lot of people this year, it's a good return.
A week ago,
what?
I scored 83 points. 47.
Yeah, but this is a bad week for everyone. You have to
but it's all relative, right? It's all relative to the game week. So you got to take a look at the average points.
You're not going to constantly
I scored 37 and Ben scored 38 this week. So
yeah,
that's pretty solid.
So what is she thinking for transfers? If she can hear me, I don't know if she can.
She can't hear you, but the question Ben posed was, first of all, let's go through your team. But Ben posed the question of, what are you thinking about transfers going into next week? So you got a clean sheet out of Meslier finally.
Yep.
Leeds keeping a clean sheet, and then you got the clean sheet from Tierney, assist from Livramento. Everybody has those goal and assist points from Salah. You have had Decore for the last 3 game weeks?
I have.
He's your boy, isn't he?
He is my boy. Decore is my boy. So the original goal there was I was actually going to bring in Gray. Because you have a weird thing about Gray being trash.
I was right. I'm just going to put it out there. I was right. He hasn't scored since game week 3.
But he might bag
the original goal was to bring him in to prove you wrong, because I was just curious and didn't do that because he was too expensive.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I guess I'm thankful for that now.
Okay, well, so we've got
transfers.
Yeah, let's go to transfers here. I'm gonna actually give you the old headphones so you can hear me.
You can hear me.
Oh.
So, can you hear me? You got me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. All right. So my question for you is, how many transfers do you have?
Uh-huh.
And what are you thinking of doing?
Okay, so I have 2, which, because last week we were at, well, I guess technically 2 weeks ago, but
yeah,
not quite. But we were at our rehearsal dinner. Literally.
Yeah.
You were there.
I know. I was there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I was looking at my transfers, and I just kind of decided on letting one roll over. So I have 2. And for this week, I don't know. It's kind of been all over the place. I've been thinking about a few different things because we've just kind of been talking back and forth about some good moves. But basically what I've been looking at is, for a couple weeks now, I've been looking at bringing in Lukaku, but I haven't done it, haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. I don't know if I will or not. It's a lot of my thing is it's a lot of moving money around, and that's kind of the rough part for me right now, is because I think so I was looking at bringing in Lukaku and bringing out Ronaldo, and then I was also looking at bringing out Reece James and bringing in Cancelo, but that one I'm not sure about. But I don't have any City players, and I feel like I should have a City player, at least one. So, been thinking about that, and then also
does that mean you're keeping Jota?
See, that's the one that we brought up earlier today.
Are you gonna take a -4? Jota.
Probably not gonna take a -4, but I'm thinking about, that's the third one that I've been kind of debating on this week.
Jota?
Bringing out Jota for someone. I was initially trying to figure out how I could bring in Mason Mount, but I don't know about that. Yeah.
Mount?
So that was the talk.
No. What intrigues you about Mason Mount?
Well,
like, seriously.
Honestly, for me, it's just Chelsea has such solid fixtures.
But if you're already gonna get Lukaku,
I don't know if I'm gonna get Lukaku. That's a maybe.
Do you think Mount is?
You're probably gonna get Lukaku. Let's be honest.
Chelsea midfielder.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
Do you think Mount is the premium Chelsea midfielder to have, or would you rather just stick with Chelsea attackers instead?
I don't know.
What do you say?
He said if I thought Mount was the premium Chelsea midfielder to have or not. Or if I'd rather just stick with Chelsea attackers.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
probably
tough.
end up with Lukaku, I feel like, because I've been talking about that one for a few weeks.
So are you thinking
that's the thing right now, though, is there's not, like, Ben, you and I have talked about this, there's not a whole lot of great options in midfield to replace Jota with at that price, you know?
That's why I was surprised she said Mount, which is why I was, like, wondering, like, what do you think Mount's, like, the guy, basically?
He said, do you think Mount is the guy?
I don't know, possibly. I think he'll come back into this team. He's had a rough couple of the last game weeks, recovering from injury as well. And I can see, I think Chelsea do need someone like him in the midfield, pulling strings for them, creating more chances. Because obviously we know Pulisic's not coming in. We know
he's injured,
that Havertz has been on and off as well. So I think Mount could come good in these next couple games. To be honest, I like it. To be honest.
I'm not the biggest fan of Mason Mount. I know that he had like 6 goals last year, but I'm not completely sold on him right now. But if you want to bring in Mount and Lukaku, go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a lot been thrown out in the last few days too, as I've been trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, because I only have 2 transfers and I really don't want to take a -4. So
yeah, I feel
I'm trying to figure out what the priority is, and I think between bringing in Lukaku and bringing out Ronaldo, or bringing out James and in for Cancelo and getting Jota out, I think Jota's probably the priority of getting him out and just figuring out who that replacement will be. So
that's totally fair.
Solid.
Fair. All right. Well, thank you for
coming on the
us.
pod. I'll take them back.
Welcome.
On the pod, ladies and gentlemen. That is Brighton Callaway right there.
Well,
so,
Brighton,
the newlyweds.
This is Brighton Callaway signing off.
I just said that.
That's me.
You don't even know that I just said that.
Oh, did you just say that?
Literally as you were putting on headphones. I go, well, that's Brighton
We need
Callaway.
2 sets
Like,
of
thanks for coming
headphones.
out.
That'd be better.
That's Brighton Callaway.
You'd
And
love
I'm
to
like,
see it.
yeah, so great minds think alike, and apparently ours do as well. So
obviously.
Yeah, cheers to Brighton for being on the pod.
Adios,
Our first guest appearance ever. If you want a guest appearance, contact us and we'll think about it.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe.
Unless you marry Ben. If you marry Ben, you might be on the podcast, ladies.
I don't know about that. Yeah, right.
Gosh.
All right, so let's dive into questions. We had some good questions on Twitter this week, so let's get into those, and then we'll finish up with player picks.
Sounds good. Let me pull up the questions real quick. So this week we actually did have a good bit of questions moving forward. So first one from Jake Hagan. He said, can you give an update on some of the big name players with injury flags ahead of this game week? He said Lukaku, TAA, Rudiger, etc. So I know we've covered like most of these already. We kind of went through
that, but let's just run through those guys he just did.
So I'm gonna go through this real quick, and I just want you to answer whether or not you think this injury is legitimate or not. Okay?
Yeah.
So number 1, Lukaku.
No, he'll play.
Okay. Number 2, Rudiger.
Will also play.
Okay. We've already covered TAA. He's cleared for training.
Yeah.
Number 3, let's go Jota.
I would be cautious specifically because Firmino could be playing, although Firmino's on that Brazil thing, but I would be cautious with Jota.
Well, and that's the thing about Jota, right, is he traveled to Portugal, but then not only didn't play, but didn't train at all. So I do think there may be something there with injury. That may be legitimate. And then the final one, was there any others? Oh, well, not really injury, but Rafinha. Coming back or not, so we don't know.
Watch press conferences over the next couple of days to see for that. And Xhaka is still injured for 3 months, so don't have him in your team. Unfortunately,
yeah, big FPL prospect there. Were there any that were missing there, Ben? Injuries?
No, those are all the major ones. Other than that, I don't think there are many.
Okay, sweet. Moving on to the next question. We got a question from Armand. He said, what are y'all's thoughts on Ranieri as Watford's new manager, and more specifically the impact on Sarr's output?
So we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but we'll go back to it. I'm a big fan of it because, like you mentioned, actually, he's big on counterattacking play. And who is better at counterattacking in this Watford side than Sarr? There's nobody. So I think that his production hopefully increases. Obviously, don't expect a return against Liverpool. Anything he gets against Liverpool is a massive bonus.
Right.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Yeah, you cut out for a second. It's fine.
But I overall am excited about it. I want to see them play a team that's not Liverpool to really see what he's doing with the team.
Right.
But overall, I think it's going to have a positive impact.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we always see some sort of typically see some sort of new manager bounce from any team that gets a new manager. And, they got a tough one, obviously, at home to Liverpool this week. But, I could see them scoring, Ben. It wouldn't shock me that much if they scored
if they just Liverpool. Get one, it's going to be Sarr, isn't it? Most likely.
Right.
So, I like it.
Yeah. That's a good question. We appreciate that question, Armand. Next question we had is from Hunter Gardner. He says, do you think this is the stretch of games, and I'll read you the stretch of games, Ben, to finally get Ole sacked? Also, is this the time to drop all Man United players for FPL? So the stretch of games that's quoted is Leicester City away, and then Atalanta at home, that's Champions League, Liverpool at home, Tottenham away, Atalanta away, again, that's Champions League, and then Man City at home. So in the league, their next 4 are Leicester away, Liverpool at home, Tottenham away, Man City home. That's about as tough as it gets, no?
I'm not as concerned with Leicester away this week because I watched Arsenal go to Leicester, and Leicester made Willian look like prime Ronaldinho on their home pitch last year. So also Leicester just haven't been that great this year. I'm not as concerned with them. The other games, specifically the Champions League games against Atalanta, are the ones that will make or break if he is getting the sack right now. That's where Man United really want to be, and not just in the Champions League, but competing for the Champions League. And you look at the money poured into the squad, and you look at the names on the team sheet, and they should be competing in the Champions League.
Right.
And they can't do Europa League again. They just can't. You don't bring Ronaldo in to play in the Europa League. You bring Ronaldo in to play in the last 16 of the Champions League, and hopefully beyond that, obviously, he wins it a lot. So I do think that this could be a make or break stretch for Ole. That being said, we've said that plenty of times over the past couple of years.
Right.
And when the pressure's on, he turns into Sir Alex Ferguson, right?
Yeah.
So will it happen? I don't know. Are these next games going to be determining factors? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he can't afford to. Like I said, he's already struggled in Champions League. He was very lucky to beat Villarreal. And he lost to Young Boys in the first game.
Right.
So obviously you still have other games to come. Atalanta are a very good team. I rate their coach very highly as well. So they're a very good team. And if you lose both to Atalanta, Yeah, I could see Ole having to say goodbye.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one to monitor for sure. Like you said, it seems that every time Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under pressure, he produces wins. So, yeah, I think obviously United have a tough run specifically in the league, but like you said, it's going to be more so the Champions League games that may make or break him. I think we'll see a Man United win away at Liverpool or at Leicester this game week, personally. And it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that is a good question. I appreciate that question, Hunter. Following it up, Ben, this is about the last question we have, I think, this game week. Ryan said, question for the pod, biggest FPL flop so far, biggest FPL surprise, and best overall FPL pick. The last one kind of answers itself. That's going to be Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, there's no
but
debate about
the
that.
first two,
biggest flop and biggest surprise.
Yeah, biggest flop and biggest surprise.
I'll take flop first, and you can take surprise first. If that works for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
For flop, it's got to be Harvey Barnes, doesn't it? I mean, I know it's the easy choice, but it has to be, doesn't it? I'm not even like trying to like banter the kid. But what, 1 assist in 7 game weeks now?
Yeah, personally for me, it's
gotta be him.
Nah, for me, it's Adama Traore. He's been getting he got so much gas from the FPL community. He has 0 returns. He doesn't have a goal or assist.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a case for both. They're both just abysmal. I'm getting Traore out of my team. I never had Barnes in my team. Yeah, they are just both abysmal, aren't they, this year? It's just been sad.
Oh, actually, dude, Harry Kane.
Oh yeah, if you want to go big, yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Oh my days, he's been so bad.
He has no goals, no assists,
and he's 12 mil.
Yeah,
or was 12 mil. Yeah, he's been atrocious. You could make a case for any of the 3 to be the flop of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
biggest surprise so far.
You're not wrong with any of those 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Biggest surprise
FPL so far this year. That's a tough one for me. I think I would go with Abdoulaye Doucouré, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Doucouré is a good shout. I think that Embuemo is one that a lot of people didn't expect to be doing what he's doing. I think Doucouré is definitely a good shout. I think Hwang is another one that's now getting a lot of hype that no one knew who he was coming into this season.
Right. Well, he wasn't even in the Premier League at the start of the season.
Exactly. So I think any of those 3, obviously, Doucouré probably the best because he's been sustaining it for a couple of weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd probably say him. He's definitely been the biggest surprise because he was coming in as a defensive midfielder and now he's box to box and he's just class everywhere.
Yep.
I think also from a price point, I think Smith Rowe is still brilliant, even though he's only cashed in on 1 game. I still think for a price point, he's really good value. But
yeah, I mean, you go with a number of surprises. I just picked Abdoulaye Doucouré because I think at this point he might even be the 2nd highest scoring midfielder in FPL right now. He's up there. I don't know if this one's a surprise, but Vardy's consistency as well. I think Jamie Vardy deserves a shout because his consistency this year has been just terrific. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that at all.
And then was it best asset? Yeah, Salah. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's Salah.
Sweet, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back real quick, and let's go to next week's fixtures. Time for our FPL player picks, Ben. Obviously, we both blanked last week. I got a 1-pointer off of Chris Wood for getting a yellow card. Thank you for that. Your player pick was Marcus Alonso, who did not play, so you got Rudiger in his place. So that's 2 points for you. We're not going to go back all the way through the weeks.
But Chris was up 6, so now he's up 5.
Yeah, the current score is me 50 and Ben 45.
Very close still.
I think. Oh, also going forward, we made a rule that you can no longer pick a player playing Norwich, just to make it a little bit more fun.
It's just too easy, and everyone knows that Norwich is an easy target. So we want to give y'all a little bit more excitement than that.
Yep. So having said that, Ben,
you're first this week. I went first last week because I took Alonso, and then you wanted Alonso, and I took Rudiger as the backup. Oof. So it's you first this week.
All right. Let me look at this. All right. So we got. The fixtures that stick out to me are Southampton at home to Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
Spurs away to Newcastle. And Arsenal at home to Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that stick out to me.
I'd say Man City at home to Burnley.
Oh, Man City at home to Burnley. I'm blind.
Yeah, you have to shout that.
Well, if I could choose any City attacker, that'd be nice, but they may or may not play. I may do it though and pick a backup player.
Just take him. I know you've been dying to.
Who?
Mahrez.
I already took him. Took him earlier in the season.
You already used him?
Yeah, he was my game week 2 pick.
I forgot that you used him already.
Yeah, and I don't really love any of the other picks, to be honest, because I'm not confident that Foden starts. I don't think Jesus will start because he's getting back late from Brazil. I am not even confident that Bernardo Silva starts. I mean, this may be the week to go KDB.
Do it.
I don't know. They do always slap Burnley at home.
They body them.
Ooh, I'm doing it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Okay. Kevin De Bruyne.
All right. See, I was going to also take a Man City player, but I don't know if that's like fun if I take another Man City player.
You can absolutely do it.
Then I'm taking Foden. I'm taking Foden.
All right.
I'm taking Foden.
KDB versus Foden this week for us, huh?
Yeah, double Man City. We both love that fixture. Man City just body Burnley at home.
All right. I think KDB will definitely start, so I'm not too worried about it. If for whatever
Foden
reason
doesn't, I'll take Mahrez.
Okay, if Foden doesn't, you have Mahrez as your backup. Let me put that in.
Then, yeah.
Okay.
But just so y'all know, because obviously both took Man City, other good fixtures if you're playing along at home, as we mentioned, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Spurs on the road to Newcastle isn't bad. Liverpool on the road to Watford is not bad. Chelsea, Brentford, a little iffy. Leeds South. There's plenty of player picks. We just both know the history of Man City, Burnley, and it typically just goes one way.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
I think that about does it.
That's solid. That is solid. I think this is a shorter pod this game week, which is totally fine. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about. But, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming back. And I hope you enjoyed the special guest this week,
Yeah, thank you to Brighton Calloway for coming on the pod, my best friend's newest family member, his wife. Congratulations to them again. If you guys are happy that Chris is married, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button.
Smash it.
Can we get like 8 likes? How many days have y'all been married now? Like 10?
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, let's get 10 likes for each day that they've been married. Let's get 10 likes on this video. Shout out to everyone that sent in questions. Hunter, Ryan, Armand, if I'm missing somebody, I think Jake. Jake, thank you again to all you sending questions. You can always find us on Twitter at BorderlineFPL. DM us, reply to our tweets, tweet at us. We will reply. You will get one of us. We promise we will reply. We'll talk about your teams, talk about your life, talk about the Premier League, whatever you want. We even talked about real NFL football on this podcast.
True.
So we got you. So like and subscribe down below. But until next Monday, guys,
yeah,
we're out.
That's it. Thank you guys so much. Peace.
Peace.